It's a new year, and a new year means new money goals, so that's what we're doing today. It's currently the first week of 2024, and I'm feeling pretty excited about the fresh vibes going on right now. I always try to take advantage of any fresh start opportunities that come up. Technically, you can set a goal or try something new, try out something that you haven't done before at any point, but something about doing it on the first of the year, first of the month, on just a Monday, something like that, it just feels right, so we're going with it. Now, I want to get right into it. So we're going to be covering our money goals for the year. Dennis has some for him, I have some for me, we have some combined ones too, and then we're also going to talk about how we plan to actually hit all those goals, because it's seriously too easy to set all these goals at the beginning of the year and then just completely forget that you made them, and all of a sudden when you remember, it's too late to actually hit them and make them happen. So none of that for us this year. I also wanted to quickly say that we did, over the last week or so, make vision boards for ourselves for the New Year's, and we did something new this year. We wrote letters to our future self to read in December 2024, so 1 year from now, and those were really fun, so highly recommend doing stuff like that too. Okay, so first up, goal number 1 for me is to invest $2,000 per month every single month. Now, I've made it my mission over the past few years now to invest at least $1,000 a month consistently. I started doing this back when I still had my corporate job, which obviously was a little bit easier because I had a steady income, but then even when we quit our jobs and became self-employed, we were only paying ourselves out $2,036 a month, to be specific at the time, all the way up until the beginning of last year actually, and obviously when that also includes my rent and just covering my expenses in general, there was not much wiggle room, so couldn't invest from that monthly salary, but even then I was transferring $1,000 a month from my savings to my investments just to keep up the habit and to be consistently investing. Now for this year, our new income that we're paying ourselves out is $4,459.91 a month, to be uber specific, and obviously with that I have a lot more room to play around with. So I cannot just afford to invest that $1,000 a month now directly from my salary without having to transfer anything from my savings and my investing. I can also actually bump that up to $2,000 a month comfortably. Now, even though I said that, I'm not actually 100% sure that I'll actually invest that $2,000 a month every single month. And the reason for this, and Dennis is going to talk a little bit more about this in a second, I'll just touch on it here, but we're getting a bit more serious about our goal of buying real estate this year. Obviously, when you buy a massive purchase like that, you need some money in your liquid savings for a down payment, closing costs, stuff like that. We haven't mapped out our exact numbers for this yet, so I have to build my goals from something for the beginning of the year. What I do know I'm going to do for sure is invest $2,000 a month every month for the first few months until I re-max out my TFSA. Now that's goal number 2 for me for the year, is to do that. I maxed it out this past year for all my last year's contribution room. I finally have it fully maxed, but the contribution room limit for 2024 is $7,000. So it'll take me a few months to re-max it out for the year, and then after that there's a chance that I'll invest $1,000 a month and then save $1,000 a month instead. We'll see. Either way, my goal for sure is to potentially invest $2,000 a month, at the very least keep $2,000 a month. I'm also going to quickly share my next goal because it really builds off of this one, and that's goal number 3, to invest at least $30,000 total. Now, how we typically do this is that we set a specific amount of money that we want to invest every single month, like I just covered, but then we also invest a bigger chunk of money at the end of the year, depending on how much we made. We'll pay ourselves out a bonus for the year, and then ideally I'll be able to hit that at least $30,000 number. You know what I mean. Ideally, I'll be able to hit that goal by the end of the year between the monthly investing and that bigger chunk. So hopefully by December 31st, 2024, I've gotten at least $30,000 again in there.
Okay, so on to my goals for the year, which I can't even believe is here, especially with 2023 just being this super crazy year with so many things happening. But at the same time, even with that being said, I am super ready to just get into my goals and actually start talking about crushing some of the things that I really want to get done in 2024. Now, for my first goal and for overall goal number 4, we have maxing out my TFSA. Now, obviously, Steph maxed out her TFSA and she's going to be focusing on re-maxing it out in the first couple months of 2024. Me, on the other hand, I've yet to max mine out, primarily being because, when I started my postgraduate journey, so literally right after finishing university, I was $50,000 in student loan debt. So I took some time to kind of pay that off. I was really focused on paying that off first. So I did that in just over 2.5 years. And then after that, I really started focusing on building up my emergency fund. And then, we quit our jobs and then started working for ourselves. And then, here we are now. So even though I've been investing as much as I possibly can since then, I do still have some contribution room that I do need to catch back up on. Now, the beauty behind the TFSA is that, you can literally generally catch back up on previous years that you might have missed. So for me, at the beginning of this year, I had $52,000 left in contribution room that I could have contributed throughout, like basically to max out my TFSA. This year, I invested $21,000 into my TFSA. So as of right now, as we're recording this video, I have approximately $31,000 left to contribute to my TFSA. Now, I am hoping that I can, contribute all of that this coming year, but we'll see. We'll keep you guys posted on how that actually works out on the channel. Now, another big goal of ours is goal number 5, and that's to buy our first piece of real estate. So if you're someone who's been around the channel for a while, you know that real estate is one of those topics that me and Steph have kind of gone back and forth on in a bunch of different videos, with this year being the first year where we were actually, making a little bit more moves to actually be in a position to buy a piece of real estate. Now, what I will say is that we do have a video coming up in the next couple of weeks where we're going to dive deeper into our process and what that's going to look like. But more or less, if I were to break down what the goal looks like, it's either going to be to buy our first piece of real estate this year or to put ourselves in the best position to actually be able to buy a piece of real estate either this year or the following year. We will see how that actually ends up working out because, plans are plans, but stay tuned.
Okay, so my next big goal that will definitely be my most challenging one of the entire year is to spend $0 on Uber Eats. Now, I noticed some people that might not sound like a big deal. Maybe you don't even order Uber Eats or get takeout delivered to you, anything like that at all. But as someone who spent $2,299.99 on Uber Eats alone last year, keep in mind that I spent more money on eating out at restaurants too. That was just over $2,000 a month on takeout, which I think works out to like $186 a month. Yeah, that's just not what I want to be spending my money on. So it's something I definitely really want to cut down for the new year. Now, I know that going from $2,229.99 a month to $0 is a little bit extreme. I definitely don't think that people need to automatically completely cut something out just because you're not happy with it. It might not even be the most effective way. I don't know. We'll test it out this year. But I think it'll be kind of a fun challenge. I've never really done a no spend challenge like that before. So I want to try it out. And I also have the nice piece to it that I have our social media and you guys here to help keep me accountable. So I want to see how it goes this year. Now, like I said, I've never done a challenge like this before, specifically having a no spend on a category that I obviously spend a lot in. So I have a few ground rules that I came up with to help keep me in line and keep me focused on it. So rule number 1 is that I cannot order from any delivery apps at all. So no Uber Eats, no DoorDash, no Skip the Dishes, none of them. Uber Eats seems to be my go-to that I have done the most damage in this year, but I don't want to automatically feel like I can just go to another delivery app instead. The rule is to go with none of them. Rule number 2 is that I can call a restaurant directly and order food and go pick it up. What I mean by this, and also not by using any delivery apps, but I mean if I want to call on the phone my favorite Thai food place, obviously I've done this before, that's why it's specific, but if I want to call them and then walk the 45 minutes there to pick up the food and then bring it home, that's fine because I don't see myself doing it that often. That still requires effort. It would be a nice long walk. I guess a rule for myself is to not do that for a spot that's 2 minutes away, but if it's a nice long walk, I'm allowing that. So that's my second rule. And then my third rule is that, this one's kind of a fun one. If I successfully spend $0 on ordering any takeout for the entire month, then at the end of the month, Dennis and I are going to go out in person to a new restaurant that we haven't tried before. I feel like that will hopefully keep me motivated. It's kind of fun. And it's also a way to kind of document the process on a month-by-month basis as well. So I want to hear your thoughts on this challenge. Let me know in the comments how you want to be updated on my progress too. And if any of you have some sort of no spend category that you want to focus on this year as well. So let us know down there.
Okay, so next up is goal number 7, and that's us focusing on hitting our business goals. So if you're someone who's new to the channel, me and Steph are personal finance content creators, and yeah, that's what we do. We work for ourselves. We make money through a variety of different ways, one of them being affiliate links, sponsorship deals, speaking gigs, and we've been doing this for the past 2.5 years. Now, we have a number of business-specific goals that are separate from our personal goals, and what's interesting for us, I don't know if you guys will find this interesting, but the way that we typically do it is when it comes to our business planning for the future, we'll typically have a big meeting at the end of the year where we'll talk about how we did and what our plans are moving forward. So in this case, we actually do have some specific revenue goals that we want to hit. We have revenue goals for our different revenue streams that we want to hit. And overall, we also want to grow our business. Now, all of this means a couple different things for us. So number 1, we want to do more speaking engagements. So what that would look like would be us going to different companies, going to different events, and being speakers at these events and talking talking about topics like, money basics, breaking down different money concepts, and overall just trying to make money simple for everyone. Number 2, we want to come out with a money course. So this is something that we've been talking about for the last couple of years. And for the most part, we've been, teetering on different ideas. But this year, we actually want to focus on bringing something that's actually going to be super valuable. And we're ideally going to be working on it throughout the year and updating you guys as we're going along.
Okay, and finally, the last one, which is actually a goal for both of us, is to fill out our budget tracker every single month. Now, I've been using a budget tracker that I made for the last few years now, but last year was the first time that we both actually filled it out and tracked our expenses every single month, which was a big game changer for me. What I mean by that is every single time that I bought something, obviously it becomes a transaction in your bank accounts already, we actually put that into our tracker. What this allowed me to do is really be aware of what I was spending every month in real time and then also make changes for the next month. It also allowed me to see that I spent exactly $2,229.99 on UberEats, for example, but also just in all my different budget categories, I could see exactly how much I was spending. Now, I feel like a lot of different budget templates that are out there, because there's definitely quite a few of them. Sometimes they're kind of fancy and have all these different charts and things, which is definitely nice and can be useful too. But I wanted one that just had the basic pieces that you need, was super straightforward, easy to follow along with. And so that's the one that I've kind of built up over time. And we've actually made it shareable with you guys. We've done this in the past, but this one's much more updated. I'm going to run you through it in a second, but we wanted to let you know that it's available now, so you can get it up here somewhere on the screen. We'll put the link, but also in the description box too. Okay, so I've got my laptop here and I'm gonna run you guys through the budget template really quick. So there's a few changes that we made before sharing it out with you guys. So this is the first page, the budget overview. On here, you can put in the year and the month that you're starting to use it. Obviously right now, if you're watching this video, January 2024, but if you're looking at it in a future month and you still want to use a budget template for the year, I'm glad that you're here watching this. So you can change it to whatever month you're actually on, and it'll actually flow through to the other sheets. So you have some automations in here. So make sure you make it accurate to the month you're in. Then this is the standard monthly budget. We've gone over this a few times, but this is your ideal month. What are the main things, like your fixed expenses, your goal for groceries that's going to be the same every single month? Put that in here. So I put in some of mine, for example, rent, $950, internet, $3,107, all the different expenses. Now, if you're using this template and yours are different than mine, which they probably will be, you can edit any of the ones that you don't have to something different, and then just make sure you change the category as well to what it is related to. And there's also some extra lines for you down here as well to add in any extra expenses if you have more. Then there's also a spot for you to put in your income. So make sure you put that there for the year. And then your set saving and investing goals. So for me, emergency fund, mine's full, so I don't have anything going there. If you do, you can fill that out. Investment account 1, I would actually rename this to Wealthsimple Trade for myself, because that's the one that I'm using right now. I guess Wealthsimple Trade TFSA. And then that'll flow throughout the rest of the spreadsheet too. And then this little leftover table, I think it's just nice to see the difference between what you've budgeted to spend every month plus your saving or investing goals. What else could you potentially save if you stuck to your budget? So that's there. What else do we have? We have the bank accounts tab. This one you can fill out. This one's more of a manual tab, but if you want to track it like I do, I like being super on top of what my accounts are sitting at the beginning of the month, like a snapshot in time, since you can't really ever go back and see what it was at the beginning of the month. So you can put in like checking account, the amount that it's sitting at the beginning of the year, and then any notes if you want to too. Then this is the important golden tab that I feel like has really changed my budgeting game, which is the monthly expense tracker. This is where we've added in more fun automations too, which I'm looking forward to this year. So what you can do is throughout every day of the month, let's say it's January 3rd right now, going back in time a bit. Let's say that what did I do that day? Let's say that I bought groceries, I bought them at Metro, and I spent $150. You're gonna put that in here and track it. That's all you have to do. And then over in the budget versus actual table, you might have seen it change and grow. I already have another groceries amount already in the month. Obviously this is just an example, but it shows that I'm over my budget for the month. And so it gives me a rating of red. So at the end of the month, this whole table will be filled out for you. So you can see how you did with your budgeted amount versus how much you actually spent. So again, all you have to fill out is the expense tracker, but you get all this nice insight to the side too. And then the last tab is the annual budget tab. This one you don't have to touch at all. Everything that you've put in through the other tabs is just gonna flow here. This one's nice to check in at the end of the month if you want to. You could see how January looked once everything's filled out. It's especially useful at the end of the year. This is where I pulled that big Uber Eats number, that $2,229.99. I have that so memorized right now, but that's where I would have that and know everything specifically for the year. So this is the budget template. We have another explainer video for you too if you're actually gonna download it to help you figure out how to use it nicely. But again, the link is up here on the screen and in the description box.
And that's it for our 2024 money goals. We hope that you guys all had an amazing year. We definitely want to hear some of your financial goals, so let us know down in the comment box below. And yeah, if you haven't checked out any of our previous videos, make sure you do check them out next door. We will be back next week with another video, and see you soon.